Greetings all you maniacs and minds with grinds. Welcome back to another Warframe weapon showcase. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Tenora Prime, the newest weapon to come in, and you know, it's your basic bitch assault rifle with an alt fire that's not a grenade launcher, so it's MR fodder, right? Anyway, this thing is actually pretty damn cool and pretty powerful. I do have a ribbon for it, and I will be showing it with the ribbon, but just note, even without a ribbon, this thing is going to destroy the star chart and basically everything in between. The only thing that this weapon is not going to really do well against is really long arbitration missions. I'm talking an hour or more, and steel path. But is judging a weapon based on how well does steel path realistic? No, absolutely fucking not. Anyway, I have two builds. So the first build is this one, and this is my ribbon. Multi-shot critical damage minus status duration. The multi-shot and critical damage are very good. I'd probably argue that maybe critical damage is better than just having straight up critical chance, because I don't think you're going to get over 100% critical chance. It won't matter anyway. Just having crits that hit harder is just better. And the multi-shot is very, very nice. So this is the viral setup, and I am going to be doing a few real world missions, namely disruption. So I'm going to be doing disruption against all factions: Grineer, Corpus, and Infested. So there's that. And then here is the Corrosive Build. Literally just swapped one mod, and there we go. So obviously I'm going to be using this against the Corpus. I am going to be bringing Banshee because why the fuck not? Now I know you could say, well, using sonar is cheating. No, it's not, because here's the thing. If you play Warframes that have weapon buffs, you're gonna use the weapon buffs. That's just how that works. Now, of course, I've showed this Banshee build off. Pillage with Banshee is the most ridiculous fucking thing ever, and no one talks about it. The squishiest frame in the game becomes practically immortal with this damage multiplier and crowd control that also disables enemy Xmas unit auras. Yeah, that's very balanced. Anyway, so we are going to be going into disruption, and the first disruption we're going to do is Lua, because, well, Corpus, and also this is the Axie Relic Cave. So anyway, we'll do maybe 3 rounds, I guess. It doesn't really matter. Now, if you want this weapon to perform even better, you would want a ribbon with, say, critical damage and toxin. So that way you could use hunter munitions and viral at the same time. But that's only if you are concerned with taking on steel path enemies with the Tenora Prime, which, I mean, I'm not saying it can't do it. It definitely can. An assault rifle like this, with how accurate it is, with hunter munitions, with all that going for it, plus Banshee, it's going to destroy Steel Path. It will. But, I mean, you could say, well, that's with Banshee. Even without Banshee, I'm sure it will do okay. The Croc Wraith, not the Croc Wraith, the Croc Van, the Carrick, the Kuva Carrick, fucking hell, does pretty well against Steel Path. Anyway, so let's just, where are the enemies? Now, I know it's not an AoE weapon, so it's automatic MR fodder, but if you're one of those guys like, actually it's MR fodder because it's not an AoE weapon, leave. I don't want to hear it. Saying that every single weapon in the game needs to be an AoE weapon is unrealistic and also makes everything boring. And also, yeah, these are really low-level chumps, so this is just going to shred. Especially if I hit the weak points using sonar. And also, this thing has a pretty high mag capacity, 200. That's the same as the Soma Prime. Now, is this thing stronger than the Soma Prime? Maybe. I don't know. I haven't used the Soma Prime. I used the normal Soma a long time ago. Alright. The real test is about to arrive. Oh god, they have cold weapons. Get out of here with that shit. Okay, here's the dem list. Oh, it's anti-mona. Yeah, it looks like MR fodder to me. Yeah, also because this thing is like, it's literally pinpoint accurate, just like the normal Tenora. It works so damn well with Banshee. With a sonar Banshee, not sonar, yeah, sonar Banshee build, my bad. Because you want to hit weak points, and because this thing is so goddamn accurate, it's easy to do that. Now, I've mostly just been using my Vermi-Splicer with Banshee, and that works very well if the Vermi-Splicer decides to actually hit the weak points. But yeah, this... And also, the entire thing rotates. It's like a goddamn chain gun. And what the hell? Get out of here, roller bastards. It's really cool. Also, the alt fire, I didn't talk about it, but it has a guaranteed critical chance with point strike. So, it's a 100% critical chance, so that's neat. I don't use the alt fire personally, but that's just me. And this is the only thing I really cared about with Octavia Prime. Because Octavia, to me, is one of the most boring frames you could play. Yeah, no health. So I changed my mind. I think I'll do one round each because it won't matter. Because if you have a team, you guys are going to gang up on the dem list. So it's going to die really quickly. Also, I don't know if you guys know this, but Banshee sometimes, with a resonance proc, can actually hit weak points on the dem list, and it stays there. So that is really gross. So don't say that this thing can't kill, like, I don't know, level 200s, because with Banshee sonar, yes it can. And I know, it's Banshee. But still, you're going to be using Warframe buffs. Assuming you're using a Warframe that can actually buff weapons. Or if there's one on your team that can buff weapons. Or you could just be like a scrub and do what everyone else does, apparently, with every single Warframe and put Roar on. Why? I also have a ribbon for my Prisma Twin Gremlins, but I need to roll it better. Because if I put it on, I can't put punch through, and I really don't want to not have punch through on the Prisma Twin Gremlins. But yeah, my cat's killing the enemies. And something else about Banshee I've noticed, if your cat, like if you're using the Panzer Profiler, he can hit weak points, and he shreds. Okay. I didn't get a relic I need, but, well, I technically don't need any more relics because I have Tenora Prime. I guess I could go for Octavia Prime and sell her, but, that will come later. I'm not too pressed on doing it. Anyway. Now we will move on to Kelpie Sedna. Disruption. And I think I'm going to start doing this for my weapon showcases because taking a gun into Steel Path isn't super realistic unless I know the weapon can absolutely obliterate it. And that doesn't happen very often. Melee destroys Steel Path because melee is broken and melee needs to be nerfed. Because there's a lot of people in the mindset now that if you're not using melee, you're not doing well in Warframe. And I'm just like, what the hell? Whatever. People will be idiots. Now, I do wish I had heat on the ribbon, to be honest, but whatever. Can't have everything. So let's do a round of Kelpie Sedna, and then we will do Uranus on Earth. By the way, if you are I've already done a video on how to farm relics really simply in this game. Olympus on Mars for Lith and Meso. All you do is after the third round, it drops nothing but Meso. But if you want Lith, just defend only 2 of the conduits. You can actually alternate between defending 2 and defending 4. Uranus on Ur drops nothing but Neo, and no one talks about it. And there's also no annoying things in the reward pool other than a universal medallion every now and then. And everyone knows about Lua and the Axie Cave it is. So there's that. Now, I could use the viral setup here, but Corrosive 9 times out of 10 does better. And yeah, obviously, these are normal level enemies. Now, do I think that weapons don't need a buff? Like guns need a buff? I think maybe. I don't know. It'd be kind of ridiculous to give every single weapon the ability to have condition overload, because something like the Kuva Comb would be the most broken fucking thing in existence. I mean, it already is really, really strong. But imagine a comb with condition overload. No, that's too much. That's way too much. Then again, maybe it would be the only way people would use guns. And also, I don't know how many people actually do Steel Path. I know there's some people that go hours and hours in Steel Path, but they're few and far between. And it's kind of unrealistic to say, oh, this guy can only go through Steel Path if he uses this setup, this build, so this build and this setup is the best. No. It just means that that build is meant for those high levels. I see high levels on a daily basis, and I don't concern myself with meta nonsense. I really don't. I use my Vermisplicer, but no one uses that damn thing. Even though the primary Vermisplicer is pretty freaking strong. Do kind of wish I had a ribbon for it, but whatever. If I unveil a ribbon for it, I unveil a ribbon for it. Anyway. Yeah, they can't touch me because Banshee. And I really want to see if I can't get a sonar proc on the Demolist. It doesn't happen too often, but it can happen. Which is kind of dumb. And no, the Demolist can't just disable it if it's procced with Resonance. No, that's not happening, buddy. Stealth kill somehow. Interesting. Anyway, this is really not difficult at all, but you know, this is most of Warframe. I know disruption does get pretty damn hard after it only like 20 minutes, because the enemies scale pretty fucking fast in disruption, which is fine, but the Tenora wouldn't care. You can't look me in the eyes and say a gun with a 6.4 critical multiplier, with Banshee buffs, corrosive, and a high rate of fire is going to do bad against like level 120s on the normal star chart. No, it's going to shred. It just is going to shred. Now against the infested, I'm not playing Banshee because I wouldn't be able to get any armor. I wouldn't be able to get any shields. And the toxin proc, so I'm going to probably switch to Nezha. Or I guess I could play as Mirage, but I think that's skewing it a little too much. Well, not really, I guess, but nah, she would be the same story. So I'm just probably gonna, I don't know. Maybe Ember with Fireball. Sounds like a plan. Maybe. Nah. I don't know what I'll do. I'm not playing Chroma because that'd be ridiculous, but maybe I should. Yeah, like I said, if you're using a Warframe like Banshee or Mirage or anyone that can buff weapons, then you're going to use the weapon buffs. That's duh. You're going to use your abilities. Even if you're just like some Inaros that uses Roar, you're going to use that damage buff because duh. Anyway, that was really simple. So, the Tenora Prime is not MR fodder. It's not meant for Steel Path. But you know what I'm going to do? Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm going to fucking take this thing into Steel Path. briefly. I'm going to do it with the Riven and without the Riven with a Hunter Munitions build. Because I don't think people care about Disruption too much, because they're probably like, yeah, well, it's going to destroy Disruption, maybe. But anyway. I'm still, yeah, Banshee's buffs. I'd play Chroma, but I think Chroma might actually do more damage. I'm not sure. It doesn't matter, though. I'll use Chroma for the Hunter Munitions setup. I'm not going to fight the Acolyte either. The Acolyte I know is going to be tough with the Tenora Prime. I do have my really strong melee weapon here, my Stefan Stave, which I've done a video on, and it's really gross OP. But even then, Banshee will still get one shot if the abilities get disabled and shields are gone and all that. Yeah, no, totally. It's MR fodder. Look at this. You could say, well, there's just too many enemies. It might be able to kill a few of them really quickly, but there's just too many. And you're right, but it doesn't really matter, because if I had an ability on Banshee to group enemies up, it really wouldn't matter. And look at this. This is why Punch Through is amazing. Ow, ow, fucking ow. Cease. And yeah, Stefan Stave. Yep. But again, you'll use Warframe buffs. And even though Banshees is on the whole nother level of most Warframe buffs, you would still use them. I am also stripping some of their defense with Pillage, but it's only like 30%. It's really like not much. That guy wasn't even procced with Sonar. He was viral procced. This guy isn't. That was doing good damage. Anyway, let's just abort the mission. Because, again, Steel Path isn't realistic. It isn't. It just isn't. So I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to play Chroma with the Hunter Munitions build. So the most min-max thing you can do, but I know, avert your eyes, my Chroma build is, pitiful. So if you're very curious, this is my Chroma. I use Empower just because I don't have, max power strength or any nonsense like that. So simply, all I'm going to do is go to the viral build and then replace the Riven for Hunter Munitions. Boom. And now we will go back into Steel Path. So, this isn't going to be a very realistic showcase anyway, but I figured I might as well. So, gotta get my energy up. Gotta wait a little bit. I need energy. Even though I have Hunter Adrenaline, it's just better to have a decent amount of energy. I only have 90% efficiency anyway, so why not? That's why I play Fire Chroma, because it heals me too. Anyway. Now I need to stand in front of the enemies and get blasted. Okay, go ahead. Go on. But is this realistic? Nah. Is it something you can do? Yeah. But yeah, yeah, a Banshee actually might be stronger than Chroma. I'm just realizing that. But this is a lot more, like, easy to do because I don't have to aim at specific weak points. And also, I am not as, Chroma can actually take more of a punishment than Banshee, even with my tanky Banshee build. I'm not even getting headshots because it doesn't matter. I mean, they're bleeding dry. I'm pretty sure the alt fire will yep, the alt fire is one-shotting. Especially if it gets a slash proc. Either way. Yeah, there is a lot of enemies, but I mean, that's what punch through's for. And if they made this thing like a micro grenade launcher, it'd be kind of weird because the normal one isn't. And they would not give a grenade launcher these stats with this rate of fire other than the Exceltra. But the Exceltra is fairly balanced because it has a low status chance. This thing has a pretty high status chance. So I think that's good. I think y'all get it. Anyway, the Tenora Prime, it's not MR fodder. It's pretty damn good. In normal missions, it's going to shred. In Steel Path, it can work, but you have to use Warframe buffs. Which, I mean, you're gonna use Warframe buffs if you are using this weapon. So, let's put my rim back on. I really do like this weapon. Do I like it more than my Vermisplicer right now? I've been having too much fun with the damn Vermisplicer. But this thing is definitely good. Now, you might be also thinking, why don't you have Prime Shred? It fires too fast with Prime Shred. The magazine does not last. I know it only goes up by like 15%, but that rate of fire is kind of high. Now it's fine with like the Super Vandal because the Super Vandal has a lot more magazine capacity, and I don't think the Super Vandal's that fast. Let me actually check. Is the Super Vandal fucking like 16 rounds a second with Prime Shred? No, it's 19 rounds a second per Prime Shred. Prime Shred, okay. By the way, the Super Vandal with mag is fun. Very, very fun. Would recommend. Anyway, how does this color with chromas? Oh, that looks kind of cool. But I like Banshee's colors. Anyway, again, these are the builds that I've used during the showcase, and plus the Hunter Munitions one was just replacing the ribbon. So it's very good. It's kind of hard to recommend to a lot of people because a lot of people are just going to ignore it, but please don't. This is a very good weapon. Would it pay to have better base damage? Sure. Would it pay to have a higher critical multiplier? Sure. Would it pay to be an AoE weapon? Whatever, fine. But this is a cool assault rifle. And it was as strong as I thought it would be. The normal Tenora is very powerful. This one is even better, and the stat changes are very slight. So if we go to the normal Tenora, look what happens to the stats. Like, it barely changes. Slightly higher critical chance, slightly higher critical multiplier. Status chance went up by 8%, which is pretty big, and the base damage got boosted by 4 in total. And the alt fire is kind of the same. Base damage went up by 40. Magazine capacity is higher, and the fire rate is higher on the normal Tenora. Okay, then. Anyway, that's the Tenora Prime. Would recommend it. So, yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. And remember, in Trilby, we trust.